Welcome back, Geek Variants. Tis the season that keeps on giving, and the MCU is doing just that with the Guardian special. So we're going to talk about it. So here we are. We're here to talk about the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and this was just released the day after Thanksgiving, so the 25th, and was definitely something to see as far as setting up for the continuity going into Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and a few of the later events throughout the MCU that may come to pass or may just get referenced. So we're going to talk about, again, past, present, future, so on and so forth, which is great for the Christmas story. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like on the videos so we can continue to talk about all this stuff throughout the comments and every other video that we have coming forward. So Guardians of the Galaxy special starts off with, Starlord and crew. They are out there. Apparently, they have, taken hold of nowhere, and the collector is still alive and kicking somewhere, running around. But they have purchased nowhere in some capacity, and they're running the base. Like that is their home base of operations. They've got new ships. They've got new stuff going on. They're trying to get everything fixed up. One of the most interesting things is that with this, we still find out that there's a revelation to be had across the board with Mantis, and we'll get to that in a second. But that's the big focal point of this story with Christmas. Christmas was ruined for Peter because Yondu didn't understand Christmas. He didn't know what Christmas is about. So when him and Kraglin were young, we get a little animated sequence that talks about Christmas and how Yondu is just like, I'm not about that stuff. This is trash. Why are you worried about that? And again, he just kidnapped Quill, so he's trying to be more, hardcore big boss and take care of things. But he's just being an ass. So in the process of that, throws away his stuff and he's just not feeling it. So Peter doesn't have his Christmas spirit. Like he's kind of lost it. And with the revelation of who Mantis is, she wants to help bring it back and kind of get him going to understand that Christmas is going to make him happy again. It's something that he treasured. So she wants to make sure that it's treasured. And because of this, we find out that she's actually his sister. That's actually the only family he has left. So this Drax is something, had this secret, and he's been holding on to the secret for quite a while. And we know Drax. Drax really don't keep his mouth shut about much. If he's answered, he'll tell you straight up the truth about whatever he's talking about. But this is what's going to lead them to go on their adventure. And throughout the course of them getting ready to go on their adventure, we see different characters. So all the Guardians are there except Gamora. Gamora is still missing. And we got to remember that the Gamora in this timeline now was not the Gamora from the original one. It was that we got to find who this new Gamora is. She's got to understand what's going on. The original one was killed by Thanos for the stone, so she's still trying to process what's going on, and she's running around. Nebula is probably the only one that can really talk to her to get her to understand what's happening until she starts to get them feelings together for Quill and the rest of the crew. We do get an interaction between Rocket and Cosmo. So Cosmo the space dog, which we saw, was broken out. Cosmo is a Russian space dog with telekinetic powers, and both were operated on by the High Evolutionary, which has already been cast as one of the main villains coming up for Guardians 3. So the fact that they're having interaction, we may get some more information on their background, their backstory going into Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Especially because Guardian Galaxy 1, we saw that Rocket was worked on. That was mentioned while he was in the prison. So we're going to get we get their kind of little back and forth and stuff. And there's a chance that we may even see Lila at some point. You can look up who that is, but very important to Rocket. So with these characters and stuff making their cameos throughout the, universe, you're going to see different people drop in. So one of the ones that was mentioned was Santa Claus. Santa Claus has been mentioned by Marvel as one of the most powerful mutants in the world. There's been several different iterations of Santa Claus that was mentioned. Santa Claus has been known to be a mutant that constantly has his powers and is constantly working on stuff, and being able to do all the things that Santa does in one night definitely will be the work of a mutant. It's rumored that Santa has gets his powers for one day only. That Santa's immortal. We don't know how old Santa is. Santa just always looks old, like Santa does, and hides among the people. Um, so many different revelations as far as what Santa goes, but it's something that has been mentioned at length throughout the Marvel Comics universe. So as we go ahead and get through the story, we got Drax and Mantis deciding that we got to take the ship. We got to go and see what we can do to make this, Christmas better. While Peter is trying to get into his Christmas spirit, he gets a little bit of it. They have a band. I think that's the old 97s. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they do a Christmas song, which is a very interesting Christmas song. But it pretty much just destroys the spirit of Christmas even more for Peter. So, and that's why, like, yeah, we got to go and get this together. Enter the legendary Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon has been a big, thing for Starlord growing up, and throughout his movies and stuff. That's the way that Starlord kind of live vicariously, and he actually utilizes, the imagery of Kevin Bacon to do certain things, i.e., save the world with dancing, like with Footloose. So, with this being said, Mantis and Drax are going to go get Kevin Bacon, and it leads them on a little whirlwind adventure where they go to Earth. They have a little fun. You see that Pirates of the Caribbean and Transformers exist in this universe. Everybody's seen the Avengers doing the cosplays and stuff. We actually see Drax get a little bit hostile towards one of the GoBots and stuff because his cousin was killed by robots, and that's actually a pretty good reference to the Kree Sentries, which one of the Kree Sentries, just one, fought the Avengers to a standstill at one point in time in the comics. So these are very powerful beings. And the fact that they came when all of Drax's people were slaughtered, probably, one or two centuries came and just ran through everything. So he harbors that grudge, and that reference is still there. So we could see them going forward. We do know that the Kree have had a more prominent place in the MCU, with Ronan doing all the stuff that he was doing. So it just depends on how powerful they are and where they were sent from, who sent them to destroy everything. So we may get more backstory, which means we could still see possibly, Drax's daughter run around the universe, Moondragon, at some point. So keep hope alive. That will also probably lead us to Nova at some point. Freaking, we know that Adam Warlock has been cast. So there's a lot of things that are kind of rolling together right now that we're going to get to see play out in some capacity. Um, in the process of going back and forth to get Kevin Bacon, they have again they're fun, but eventually they get him back and realize that he is just an actor, and they are disgusted by this. So they still formulate a plan to make sure that he is still able to help Quill save Christmas. Throughout this, we get a couple different little cameo spots. With I think there's like John Cena and stuff on the Hollywood star maps and a few other characters. So it was just nice to see those little things pop up, or those little pictures pop up. But they got to get Kevin Bacon in tip top shape to make this happen. In the process of this, of course, we see that Groot has grown up. you know Groot's no longer this, so we get the little special that we saw with the episodes of Groot running around, but now Groot has grown up. So again, continuity in the MCU timeline is up for question to be sure where they're at. Apparently, Thor: Love and Thunder took place around 2024, so this is taking place around 2025. That's some of the reports and stuff that I've been reading. I've been trying to make sure I put together the timeline, but again, we'll get more confirmation because time is going to be very skewed throughout this entire, phase 5, with the way things are going on with King the Conqueror, Loki, Chronopolis, Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania. There's a lot of things that are throwing time for a loop, pun intended. But they have to figure out how to set it up correctly. Now, we do know that the timeline, again, we got more Easter eggs with stuff like Kingo. There's actually a Kingo Christmas movie on a little sign. So the Eternals are still present and at play here. We saw them in the past kind of doing what they're doing. So we don't know what they're doing now going forward. We just know what they kind of took off to do. If you watch the movie, some people didn't, but definitely still worth a watch. So with all this being said, they put everything together and they surprise Peter with a more or less Christmas spectacular. They grab a bunch of stuff on the way. We're grabbing Kevin Bacon, and they try and do a Christmas party and deliver Kevin Bacon as a present. Of course, Peter is shocked and, in awe of why the hell would you kidnap a person to bring me a person? But um, after Kevin Bacon's mind is returned to normal, because they had to make him come somehow, so they had to calm him down. They literally have Kraglin explain about Christmas, and Kevin Bacon kind of understands, and then Kevin Bacon decides to do what he can to help, and definitely rousing, musical rendition happens, and it definitely helps Peter kind of see things through. So with this, they end up, of course, exchanging presents. Rocket finally gets the arm of the Winter Soldier, which makes me wonder what the hell happened to the Winter Soldier. Why is his arm in Rocket's box? What is he going forward? Like, so again, timeline ramifications are going to be all over the place. Is he alive? Is he dead? Did something happen? We don't know. Something is going on. Um, we get the origin of Star-Lord's pistols, which actually came from Yondu, and we see that Yondu, because he opened up a present and saw this one of those little baubles that he gets. That's one of his first ones that he got from Peter for Christmas, and that's one of the reasons why he always collects those things, because it's a reminder of Peter and how much he grew to love Peter and take care of him like that is his son. And we see that throughout the, emotional ending of Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where he sacrifices himself to make sure that Peter is good. So these things hold very significant weight for him. So I think that was just like the turning point for him to understand that, hey, I'm good. This is what something you love. I'm gonna do it as best I can. Um, Other references throughout the thing, of course, Rocket is described as a talking raccoon and wants to kill Kevin Bacon. Drax is referred to as the god of war. I don't necessarily think they meant Kratos. They're talking about Ares, the god of war, which, the gods do have an appearance in the Marvel Comics universe over several times. We've already got Hercules that has made his debut in Thor: Love and Thunder. So don't be surprised to see any other, gods and stuff come and play a part throughout this entire MCU set of movies and timeline. Um, the Bowie is the name of the new ship that they have. So if you remember, they had the Milano, was named off of Alyssa Milano. So now they have the Bowie, which is more or less a reference to David Bowie, who, is a fantastic, artist, and it was great to have Kevin Bacon's movies referenced with, Jason and Footloose. So all in all, it's a fun little special. It's definitely something that you should watch. It's about 40 minutes long. They're having fun with it. We get a lot of reference points, and going forward, we know that these characters are going to encounter a very emotional Guardians of the Galaxy 3, is the way it's been put by James Gunn, and it sets up for whatever team they want to have going forward, because I'm pretty confident that it's not going to be the same Guardians team going forward. It's going to alter. So I believe Dave Bautista said that he is no longer doing it because James Gunn is no longer held, because we know he's now one of the co-heads of DC with Pete Safran. So we do know that he's probably not going forward. Um, don't know if any of the other characters are going to sign on. Again, it's kind of an up in the air thing. But again, definitely check it out. Make sure that you like and subscribe so you can keep up with all this stuff. And we will definitely talk about all of this with the rest of the videos coming forward. So keep an eye out for Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania.